Just had a little internet connection issue. I'll wait a few minutes for everybody to get back here. Once again, sorry about that. One thing that did show up was that Carlos Santana is out for. Looks like Carlos Santana is out for Milwaukee. So we're going to have to change our lineups with him. And I'm probably not going to do a whole new projection update. Yeah, welcome back. Sorry. Just give everybody a few minutes to get here, and then we'll go through the main slate. While I do that, I'm going to go through my builds for this afternoon, and go through I'm just going to X out the Santana lineups, I think. What I probably should do, yeah, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back. I'm going to change the Milwaukee projections here. Let's get rid of this one. And we'll add in the guy that was added was Tyrone Taylor. We'll see if that makes any real difference. Get rid of Santana. And then we're going to rebuild these early ones. Because when one guy is out like that on a 3-game slate, I think it'll make a difference. Once again, I apologize for those of you who got disconnected, including me. I lost my whole internet in my house for about 8 minutes. So I'm just going to, as I do have 2 minutes, we're going to go back, and actually what we're going to do is, again, we're going to limit it to 70% over here. It says in team stacks, again, we were going to limit this to 60, right, for Minnesota. And players, Cueto, okay, good. Yeah, let me just finish this, then we're going to go right on to the main slate. The time, right? A couple minutes? 2 minutes? Oh, plenty of time. I thought we were under a time crunch there. I'm just going to do this. And then we're going to put this one here. We're going to keep our hand built one as is. And we'll replace that over here. Any time? Oh yeah, you mean the Baltimore money line that we had? Yeah, that sucks. That would suck. I remember the theory behind it was that we were fading Valdez off the no hitter, and they got to him real good. But that's the way it goes. All right, so let's share the screen, and we will get back into. We'll get back into the late slate. I mean the main slate. Okay. So what I was doing before, again, I'll catch up again, is I was just going through like what I thought was going to be good plays, and I was almost through it. I thought, Yankees, White Sox. Again, we're going to go through the projections in a minute. Both these pitchers look pretty awful. I imagine the Yankees would be a good play. San Francisco Angels. Yeah, sure. Otani's good, probably good at 11-3. San Diego, Seattle. Darvish, I would have as a top play. Hancock, I'd have to look into at 4K. Dodgers, Arizona. I probably wouldn't go back to Merrill Kelly against the Dodgers, and probably not Bryce Miller. So anyway, let's do the same process that we do for all of the slates, and we will do that with the main slate. Let's pull up our projections and see what it looks like. All right, so this should not come as a surprise to people. All right, so the top overall play, pitching wise, is this rookie. Price to pay. Now, with this, we're going to really have to look into this a little bit more, because if he's legitimately starting and can get like 5-6 innings, his price is ridiculous. But if he's a dude that's going to play, pitch 2 or 3 innings, then we have to really, consider it. So we're gonna put this on hold. But that's one thing to notice. The other thing you'll notice is that no pitcher has a rating of over 40, and what that means that while these pitchers relative to each other, I mean, you can compare them relative to each other, but relative to am I losing connection? I hope not. If I do, apologize. Looks like I'm losing my internet. If so, I apologize. Anyway, hopefully this doesn't phase out on me. If so, I guess I'll see you at 6. What happens. Or maybe I'll do my golf from the office if I can get out of here. So anyway, you'll see all these guys in the low 30s that look just kind of decent. I mean, nobody looks that great. And the one thing that I'll notice is that that'll happen to Pivetta. Where's Pivetta's projection? I mean, I thought that he was like a lock. I mean, against Kansas City, I played much worse pitchers against Kansas City than Pivetta. I mean, the guy's freaking killing it. And this is going to be one of those guys that I think I'm just going to have to. I'm going to have to manually upgrade. Darvish, he seemed to make sense, and he looks good, and Otani looks good. Severino, again, he's a cheapo. It's a little bit of a drop between Darvish and Otani to him. And then you have a little drop between Gausman and Flaherty. Like, these guys are not projecting as well as I would have thought. So we're going to have to see how projections kind of change throughout the course of the day. But right now, if I had to play, it would really be like it would be some combination of these three, like either Otani, Darvish, Otani, Hancock, or Hancock, Darvish. And that, again, that is dependent on, that is again dependent on what this Hancock dude really is all about. Okay. Now let's take a look at the hitting on today's slate. DK stacks. All right, so DK stacks. This is something you don't see too often. Where, especially on a big slate, we'll look at it the way we always do. First, you're going to look at raw points, and you see Boston and Atlanta are tied for the top raw stack. And you see that Atlanta is much lower owned. And the reason for that is because all these guys are really expensive. Okay. You see incredible ownership from Boston here because they're facing Jordan Lyles. But I mean, there's no disputing this projection. I mean, you could dispute it, but there's no escaping how big this is. And then you have a drop to everybody else. Yankees, Houston, Dodgers, San Diego, Toronto, they all look very similar down here. But the one thing you'll notice, and this is the way I look at it, is all these guys kind of tied for the second tier. You have the Yankees with ownership. You have, and then Toronto with some ownership. But you have Dodgers, Houston, and San Diego without that much. So if you were going to pivot off of, say, Boston or Atlanta, then I would not use the Yankees probably. It would probably be more Houston, LA, or the Dodge or the Padres. That's when you're looking at it from raw stacks. Now, when you look at it from overall value stacks, just pure value, you got the White Sox, KC, as I suspected, and surprisingly, you have Boston here as well. And again, when you have a team that's both raw points, near the top, and also straight value near the top, and that's really something to take note of. Someone is asking if there's delay, if there's bad weather. Let's take a look. Didn't look like. I mean, like Roth has a yellow green. It says there might be, I don't know, a few isolated showers and thunderstorms in the mid-afternoon. I don't know. Didn't look like an issue. That would be quite a big surprise to everybody. We'll see. So again, it looks like Boston is like just extremely strong play here. But you got a lot of ownership. So if you're going to rate it just straight on value, probably something like the White Sox or even Cleveland. Okay, but so White Sox, Cleveland, but again, Boston is just showing up as a huge play. And then when you put it all together and you search by modified stack, again, Boston is like clearly the best. So this is something to respect. I wouldn't just fade Boston because they're chalk. When the team rates that much higher than everybody else, it is definitely something to consider. I mean, I would rather probably get a little different with the pitching than completely fade this hitting situation. JDW, you're asking whether the MMA video will be today or tomorrow. I would love to get it out to today. The problem is there's one fight that still hasn't been priced yet. They added the Joe Johnson versus Damon Blackshear fight, and I would rather wait until that prices so that at least I can look at it intelligently. So I'm probably just going to have to wait. Yeah. So that's what we're doing here, Clay. We are doing the modified stack, Clay. This is exactly where we are. We're on the right side of the page here. So Boston looks like really strong. And now, what else do we have over here? If you didn't want to play them, the next one you have is once again KC. Pretty strong value. And then you have the White Sox again and modified at low ownership. So this is and then you have the Yankees that rate okay. So what I would say is this. The Yankees appear in both raw stacks and in modified stacks. Boston appears in both raw stacks and modified stacks. KC and the White Sox appear in both value and modified. So I do think that these four are probably pretty good, but I would not leave out these other three that we talked about. So Houston, LA, and San Diego. So I would say 7 viable stacks. And we did the straight value as well. White Sox, KC, Boston. These are the same types of teams. White Sox, KC, Boston again, Atlanta, Yankees, Houston, LA. But this ownership thing on Houston is pretty appealing to me. The next thing I want to do, before we even get into this, the build, let's go back to the projected ownership of these pitchers for a second. So you have Ohtani and Darvish at the top. Who else is high owned here? Not much, right? Maybe Flaherty. So I do want to see if any of these guys get you leverage. No, because the Yankees are against Clevenger. No one's playing them. San Diego is against Hancock. That could be interesting. Like if Hancock, for whatever reason, ends up popular, Then San Diego could be some good leverage there. Dodgers, not really good leverage. Houston, I'm just trying to find someone against an owned pitcher. No. So yeah, so what's interesting to me is that the Cubs did not show up as well as they thought, because I guess I always like to play teams against Peterson, but I guess it just doesn't make too much sense on this slate. Um, the other thing is that Darvish against Seattle, Darvish is going to be really popular, and I usually don't like to play Seattle against righties. But I wonder if it's some good leverage. I'm going to say no. I'm just going to rely on the projections as far as that goes. So let's build. Let's see what we can do here. Let's see, for example, what we could get out of the top pitchers. So let's just do Ohtani Darvish. But then again, yeah, let's do Ohtani Darvish. So again, if we do Ohtani Darvish, then we are, then we're playing chalk, which means that we have to play kind of a low owned stack. So that means Boston is out in this build. Okay, we're gonna put a Boston stack together with less owned pitchers, but for this one, we are going to try to play some value here. So if we didn't like Boston, I think the White Sox one is really interesting. Like if we can get away with this, like a White Sox or once again a KC stack. KC is, listen, KC's put up a bundle for us last night, so that makes it might mean that people are playing them. But let's see what they look like. Let's look first at Kansas City. So let's look at the guys that we would probably play. Let's see which guys appear in both modified and in raw points. Definitely Bobby Witt, definitely Garcia, and definitely Melendez, and definitely Waters. So let's put those in. We'll have Garcia, Witt, Melendez, Waters. 2,500 is ridiculous. That's like really, really cheap. So 3,700 a man. You could do this really easily. As a matter of fact, I wonder if, just for fun, what do the White Sox look like? Like a KC White Sox combination here. I think both of those are going to be pretty reasonable. Let's take a look and see what White Sox we'd want to play. Let's see who appears in both. We have Jimenez, Benintendi, and I think that's it. So let's start with them. Jimenez. We can't play Benintendi. But at 3,700 a man, there's stuff you can play here, right? Andrews was listed. Vaughn, play him. You can play these guys really easily. Actually, matter of fact, you can go and play. Instead of, you could get yourself some juice and play Perez here, and get the 5-man, and just to fill it out, you could play Andrews, but you could even improve on this. So this is a 5-3 with Kansas City and some White Sox. Was Andrews part of our pool here? Yeah, so this is totally reasonable. If you didn't like that, if you didn't want to play Waters for whatever reason, you wanted to spend up a little more. Yeah, I don't know, Travis. I don't know yet. I just don't. I don't know yet. We're just spitballing. It's like 7 hours before game time, right? But if you didn't want to play Waters, you could get up to Benintendi if you want to do that. Waters coming off the big game, maybe you don't want to press that. I mean, this looks reasonable, like a 4-4. Again, I don't know if Andrew's playing. I just don't know. So that's definitely one way you could play. Now, on the other hand, let's do the opposite side of the spectrum. Right? Let's say we want to play Boston. That is clearly the best play. I mean, let's face it. It's either Boston or like maybe the Yankees, I guess. So let's just plow in all the Boston guys we want to play. So that's Devers, Duran, Casas, and Yoshida. That's for openers. And we're going to play Devers, Casas, Duran, Yoshida. And then it's between either Verdugo or Urias, depending on what we want to do. So then let's just say that we want to play some Yankees as our complementary. Or even Houston. We can. How about that? When did we do that? What does that look like? Because I see second base eligible there. You play. What's his name if you want? There were our outfielders available. No, only one. I was going to say if we want to play Stanton, and what position does Bowers play? Let's see. No, you don't get Bowers. You can get Bowers in the outfield. This is not. I don't think it's what you want though with the Yankees. But you can play some Houstons if you want against Flaherty. Play Altuve. Our nemesis Tucker if you want. Let's see. Houston would be. Let's see. Altuve, Tucker, something like that. Which catcher we want? Diaz is usually pretty good. So if you did this, like here's the problem. Let's just throw in like Payne or something. Now you can't do it because you can't get your pitchers in. So you're probably going to have to use one of those complementary value stacks anyway between Chicago, the White Sox, or Kansas City. But let's just see what pitchers we would use with a Boston stack. All right. Travis, since you mentioned the Dodgers, that'll be the next one we do. How about that? We'll see what that looks like. All right, so let's just pull up the pitchers again. And let's just see what low-owned pitchers would I play. Well, it'd be Hancock for openers. Well, you can do this. You could play Severino and Hancock. You could totally double pay down for pitching. How about that? And then play whatever you want. I mean, I've done worse things. And then you can do whatever you want. Hello, right? Like, you can even play the Braves. Can you imagine? You do this. And who else in the Braves? I mean, like, this is fun, right? And Acuna, if he plays, he's in a lot of pain. But we'll see. You know what I mean? Like, it seems silly to play Acuna 6,800, right? But you could totally do this. And you really have to be, what do they say, clenching your butt cheeks, right, during these games, because these guys can get put up negatives. But you get access to these plays here. It's not so bad. Or like you said, just for fun, let's just play the Dodgers. We don't care about price, right, at this point. But we'll start with let's just play them all. Betts, Freeman, Muncy, Smith, and Outman. Okay, let's just see what that looks like. A big old just overpay against Merrill Kelly. Outman, Muncy, Freeman, right? I agree with you, Rich. And who's the other one for the Dodgers you want to play? Will Smith? Either Smith or Peralta. Yeah, let's just pay for everybody. Let's go. I mean, so you could definitely do this if you double pay down for pitching, and then what do you want to do? You want to play Altuve, and you want to play Judge and Torres. This is pretty freaky, right? Peralta will definitely save salary, but in this bill we don't need to, right? If you did this, let's say you played Hancock and Darvish, then you could still play everybody you wanted. You still play all these Dodgers. So basically, let's see what this is. Let's see what he looks like. I mean, it definitely doesn't look great. Well, I don't know. He has been pretty bad, but 1.44 ERA, 26-4 in his last 4 outings. I don't know. Definitely not a great spot, but so I think those are your options. I think you either use Hancock or don't, right? And if you use him, then you could get up to all those teams like Houston and Yankees and things like that. All right, let's do a Saber Sim build, and let's see what we would get from them. Let's go into the main slate. We're going to upload the projections. Ooh, oh, I have the main slate ones. Okay, so let's do this. We'll just use the regular Saber Sims for now. So we just build them on our own here. Let's build 50 just for the hell of it. I wonder which way Saberson would lean. What's going on over here? Doesn't look like Saberson is behaving right now. Yeah, it looks like Saberson's down or something like that. So, when you play 4-2 on DK, Yeah, I'm sorry about this, guys. Um, but we will continue to try. We will finish this. So what we were doing before we were so rudely interrupted by my terrible internet is we were doing a Saberson build for this main slate. Sorry about this. Brutal. All right, we're gonna keep trying. Yeah, I do apologize. Now I'm just finishing it for the sake of finishing it. And I will do golf a little bit later. I think when the internet connection settles down a little bit. But let's build a lineup build with SaberSim for the main slate. And we'll just kind of sum up. Again, we got a lot going on today. I'm going to do some golf, and then we're going to go live at 6. So hopefully the internet connection becomes a little less fragile. I do have people working on some stuff here, so maybe that's the cause of it. We shall see. All right, so yeah, so I'm getting all the Hancock, and that's the and then if you're going to do that, this is why you get all this Houston. Ooh, all this Mets. That's interesting. So what I would do first again is go to stack type, and I answered Clay's question again about 4-2s. That's just not my thing on big slates. I'm not telling you Bobby's wrong or whatever. It's just I just find the correlation is just too massive to play anything but 5-man stacks. Maybe the 4-4 from time to time. So Houston and Boston, and the reason why you can do that is because of this Emerson Hancock play. So we're going to have to look into this a little bit more and see exactly how we want to handle this. All right, sorry for the difficulties. We'll come back and do golf in a little bit, maybe at 2 o'clock.